What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the world of smartphone photography. That's right, ditch the bulky DSLR, because I'm going to show you how to capture stunning shots using the device that's always in your pocket. We're talking pro-level tips and tricks that'll have you framing up shots like a seasoned photographer in no time. All right, before we get all artistic, let's break down the basics. First things first, get to know your phone's camera like the back of your hand. We're not just talking megapixels here, but diving into the nitty-gritty settings. Experiment with different modes like portrait, landscape and pro mode. Yes, your phone probably has a pro mode. Don't be intimidated though. Think of it as unlocking hidden superpowers. Play around with white balance, ISO and shutter speed to understand how they affect your images. Remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to capturing those epic shots. You know what they say, photography is painting with light. And guess what? The same goes for your phone. Natural light is your best friend, especially that soft golden hour glow. Position your subject facing the light for those flattering, even shots. But hey, don't be afraid to experiment with backlighting for a dramatic silhouette. Now, artificial light can be tricky, but it's all about diffusing those harsh shadows. Use a sheer curtain or even a white t-shirt to soften things up. Trust me, good lighting can make or break your photo. All right, let's talk composition. This is where things get really interesting. Ever heard of the rule of thirds? Imagine your frame divided into 9 equal sections. Placing your subject off-center along those lines instantly makes your shots more dynamic and visually appealing. Leading lines are another game changer. Think roads, fences, even shadows, anything that draws the viewer's eye into the image. And don't forget about negative space. Sometimes less is more, allowing your subject to really pop. Chapter 4. Edit like a boss using editing apps. Okay, so you've got those killer shots, but let's take them to the next level with some editing magic. There are tons of amazing apps out there, but my go-tos are Snapseed and Lightroom Mobile. Don't go overboard though. Subtle tweaks are key. Adjust the exposure, play with the contrast, and fine-tune those colors. Cropping can also drastically improve your composition. Remember, editing should enhance, not overpower, your photos. Chapter 5. See things differently. Perspective and angles. Now let's get creative. Ditch those standard eye-level shots and experiment with different perspectives. Get low to the ground for a dramatic worm's eye view, or find a higher vantage point for a unique bird's eye perspective. Don't be afraid to get up close and personal for those impactful details, or step back to capture the entire scene. The world is your oyster, so get out there and explore different angles. Chapter 6. Sharpshooter, focus and exposure. Focus, people, focus. Tap on your screen to set your focal point and make sure your subject is crystal clear. Your phone's camera is pretty smart, but sometimes it needs a little guidance. Exposure is all about how much light is hitting your sensor. If your image is too dark, swipe up to brighten it. Too bright? Swipe down. It's like having a mini light switch right at your fingertips. All right, enough talk. Let's see these tips in action. We're going to head out into the wild, or maybe just my backyard, and put everything we've learned to the test. I'll show you how to find that perfect light, compose those stunning shots, and even do some quick edits on the fly. Remember, practice makes perfect, so grab your phone and let's get shooting. Chapter 8. Don't be that photographer, common mistakes to avoid. Listen, we've all been there, those blurry photos, those wonky horizons, those accidental selfies when you thought you were on the back camera. Don't sweat it. We're going to cover some of the most common photography faux pas and how to avoid them. Keep those lenses clean, mind your backgrounds, and for the love of photography, check your settings before you start snapping away. Chapter 9. Grid lines, your secret weapon. Okay, time to unleash another hidden gem, grid lines. Think of them as your photography cheat sheet. Turn those bad boys on in your camera settings and watch your composition game skyrocket. Use them to straighten those horizons, align those leading lines, and create perfectly balanced shots. Trust me, grid lines are a game changer, especially if you're just starting out. Chapter 10. HDR mode. Unleash the details. Have you ever taken a photo where the shadows are too dark and the highlights are blown out? That's where HDR mode swoops in to save the day. HDR stands for high dynamic range, and it basically captures multiple exposures of the same scene and blends them together for a perfectly balanced image. Use it for landscapes, cityscapes, and anytime you want to capture those stunning details. Outro, go forth and create. And there you have it, folks. A crash course in mastering smartphone photography. Remember, the best camera is the one you have with you, so get out there, experiment and have fun. If you found these tips helpful, smash that like button, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future photography adventures. Until next time, peace out.